Tonight, Way 31 is still working to learn more about the accidental shooting at Blossomwood Elementary School this morning. Huntsville police said the kid brought in their parents' weapon.
We're joined now by Mike Timberlake, and we wanted to know what charges possibly the parents could face in this situation.
Well, you know, it's a complicated situation. From a criminal perspective, I think it may be difficult to say that there were any criminal charges unless you could prove that they knew this was going to happen. In a situation where there are civil claims could be made, where injuries to the other child, the parents may be liable if they, what we call, negligently entrusted a firearm or left, negligently entrusted, which means giving it to them, or made it available to someone who is obviously a minor that wasn't responsible and could use the firearm responsibly. So the parents potentially do have some civil liability here. As far as criminal liability, it would be difficult to say unless you could prove that, they gave the kid a gun or had some, reckless intent when they were handling the firearm.
Mm-hmm. And hypothetically speaking, say for instance the gun was stolen. What would happen in that instance?
And that creates a little bit more thing. What are the facts? Did the parents know about the gun? Where did the gun come from? Obviously, if you're in the possession of a stolen firearm, that in and of itself is a crime. You're not going to be automatically liable for something that somebody else does with a stolen firearm, other than negligent entrustment, like we talked about.
Mm-hmm. But if it's your child, I know in Florida there is a law that says you have to lock your weapon,
mm-hmm.
Sure.
or it has to be locked
Right,
with a trigger lock.
Right.
If it's assumed that a child might have access to it.
Yeah.
So you have children in the house, you have to lock that weapon. Is there any such law in the state of Alabama?
Yeah, the laws aren't that strict in Alabama as far as the gun controls or what you should do if you have a firearm. Basically, in Alabama, if you have a firearm, it's obviously you have to have a license for it, and to make sure you should maintain it in that manner. But there aren't any strict provisions on locks or trigger locks or anything like that.
Is there a push to get that changed?
There should be, but we'll see after this. I mean, this is every parent's worst nightmare.
Exactly.
This is terrible, and I think the school system handled it appropriately, but it's not anything you'd ever want to have to handle.
Not at all. And as soon as the news broke, we actually showed you some pictures as well. Tons of parents came rushing to the school to get their kids. Could the school in any way be held liable for anything that happened?
Right. It's a really tight-knit neighborhood, so I understand the parents' concern. There were some people that were concerned about the timing of when they found out about it. I don't know. I know that there is a way that parents can get access to information, and I don't know the specifics, but I'm sure the school system did as much as they could do with the timing. But obviously, the word of mouth is going to travel faster maybe than the protocol would allow. But as far as the school system being liable for this type of situation, it's doubtful. Basically, there are protocols that are in place to try to prevent this type of things. If you can prove that the teachers or the administration didn't follow those specific protocols, violated a rule, and it was clear, then there's potential for liability. But in most situations, the school teachers, the administrators, they have discretionary immunity because they're state employees. And unless you can really prove that they just, violated a strict, fast rule that allowed this incident to happen, it'd be difficult to prove them liable.
Well, we can all thank God it wasn't worse.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Mike, appreciate your insight. Thank you
so much.